I did like this episode. Part of it I didn't like hit me like a truck because I'm realizing that the season's only 6 episodes long, but also I don't understand bringing in the caliber of that character to kill them off that quickly. But I will say, to anyone who is like the guy who, when I was scrolling through Facebook and a random movie group that I am not a part of pops up, and I quote, and says, God, not gonna lie, didn't like that episode. Gaia dying and Nick Fury's wife being a Skrull thing really wasn't that great, but watch for yourself and find out. Anyone who intentionally or unintentionally goes out of their way to make a spoiler post like that, I hope life kicks you in the taint today. I just hope it does. Because you don't need to do that. You just don't. When the whole thing is 50 minutes and those are the 2 biggest details of the entire episode, you don't need to do that.
Nope.
At all. Anyway. So, I'm happy because I called the fact that we're going to be getting not Fantastic Four Super Skrulls, or that's what they're trying for.
I love how he just flat out says, "Yeah, we're doing Super Skrulls."
I was like, I thought he was going to be something stupid like, we're going to have Mega Skrulls, and someone's like, that sounds stupid. He's like, well, what would you say? Super Skrulls? No, that sounds stupid. But yeah, so okay, so we have that whole thing, and they're just like, all right, we're actually doing that. They're gonna like introduce who freaking Fantastic Four is here, because like I've never heard of a Super Skrull that wasn't just the Skrull that had all the powers of the Fantastic Four.
And that's the thing. These powers are not that. They're
weird.
Yeah.
It's Extremis, the Frost Giant, Cull Obsidian, of all people. How many people knew what his name was? How? And then Groot. Where did you get a piece of Groot?
Well, he was on Earth in Infinity War.
In Wakanda.
Okay, that's the other question. Like, who was in Wakanda recently to gather Groot DNA?
Just like, where are you getting this shit? Where did you get Cull Obsidian's body, who also died in Wakanda? And the other version of him died in upstate New York, in the Avengers compound. Where are you getting this shit? That's going to be one of those, we're never going to explain it. We just want to have some cool shit on a TV monitor. I understand. Okay, tell me if I missed something. Oh, also, Nick is just openly married to a Skrull.
Yep.
When they meet back in the day, he calls her Vara. When he's talking to her in present day, he calls her Skilla.
Yeah, so are they supposed to be the same person, or?
I don't know. 'Cause that kind of looked like she was roughly the same person, just older. I don't know Skrull's age, but it probably would make themselves look older for the fact that, hey, why is Nick Fury's wife not changed at all in 50 years? But
yeah,
not 50 years, like 30. But
yeah,
still,
30.
Still, like, so I don't know. I thought they were supposed to be the same person, because that's what that flashback kind of insinuated.
Yeah, I will confirm that by the next recording, but still, it is a good flashback. I like seeing more of Fury's personal life.
Yeah, it was what? And this is because of my surrogate dad, because he quotes this all the time. I can never not hear someone when they ask for coffee, not think of Airplane. When the little girl and the little boy are sitting in the seats. So how do you like your coffee? I like it black, just like I like my men. She's like 5. The Airplane from bottom to top. It's so well written. I love that damn movie.
So good.
But okay, so there's a lot of just scenes and then a lot happens in them. We have the meeting with Gravik. And for the sake of plot, Gaia doesn't go in. And is it just me? And we mentioned because they have Extremis. There's a lot of threats going on, and we show that everyone in there was Skrulls, and that he thinks that they're scared, that Talos is scared. They have them all go up, and then he gets the one hand on him, and he stabs him in the hand.
And the hand starts to heal.
And he rips the hand clean open after he walks away, and it looked exactly like Extremis. So does he have that in him already?
He might have maybe started the process a little early.
Okay. Because it showed earlier in the episode that he had just finally gotten, Shooter and the crew over there to look at things. So they aren't fully up to date on what they want to do, because they just know now that he wants to make Super Skrulls. They have no idea what's going to be in there. Because that's the first time they ever saw the reactor.
True.
So that'll be interesting to see what they get. Man, if they mention Baxter Building in any of these episodes, I'm gonna lose my shit. But yeah, one thing that I am liking about these episodes, and I think it might be one of my favorite two-person groups as far as lines go, Talos and Nick Fury are really good together.
I think ultimately they are the reason why I'm still watching this, whereas I don't know why, but other people are less impressed with this series. But I honestly think this is about as good as Loki when it comes to our main two characters just having some of the best conversations.
The dialogue is really good. I will agree with some people when this series kind of feels like they just have scenes and then they go to what I want to say, the connections between them aren't great. A reasoning to have a thing, why did we need to have 3 people break into a sub so we could find out Gaia was a spy and then shoot Gaia? You could have found that out a lot easier than almost blowing up a UN transport plane.
Yeah, that is probably an example of over planning just to get one piece of information.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people's complaints kind of are. Some of the beats are a bit overdone to make it seem like a big thing. With Brogan, they have him in that room, they chop his finger off, she tortures the shit out of him, and then they're like, okay, whatever. Did Brogan just get shot 5 minutes later? And we get nothing out of that. After that, she just goes, oh no, now I'm going to turn my eye to Nick Fury, and you'll find out maybe an episode later. They have a lot of very extreme things happen each episode, and I don't want to say this is what they are doing, but it kind of feels like each episode had to have something that people mentioned. Because normally in spy thrillers, at least from what I've seen, the whole thing doesn't have a lot of giant moments. You just appreciate that the whole thing was a spy thriller and it's really well connected. This kind of feels like a thriller, but they have a big thing in each episode that they wanted people to talk about because they aren't going to talk about the little things.
I guess I can kind of see that. One of the problems with the Marvel shows is that they feel too big. They feel too big to be television.
They do at times, but not This is the first one where I've honestly felt that way. I'm being completely honest. I didn't feel that way with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I certainly didn't feel that way with Loki. They had like 5 to 6 big things happening in an episode because that was just how it was. Miss Marvel, that one like just had big cliffhangers, but they all felt like they connected well. And like She-Hulk, to this day, I think is just spectacular. Oh, and then
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight was good. That one was just weird to be weird. That one felt like it was that. And then WandaVision. That one was just like their first foray, and it kind of was just like, I don't know what you're doing, but I like it. Like they always had some cute dance number or something, but that kind of felt, this was the only one where, and it's not a complaint per se, but it just kind of at points feels like they did a big thing just to do a big thing. And like, that's not a big thing. Like I said, with Gaia being killed, if they didn't plan on, this is what weirds me out. If you are going to have a couple of Skrulls, it's going to be Secret Invasion. If you're going to have a couple of Skrulls that are going to be big names as people that aren't disguising themselves as Avengers, I would have imagined you were going to keep Emilia Clarke around of all people.
Yeah. Although, given the nature of the show and the nature of Skrulls, there are some people who, for a good reason, don't even believe that Gaia was killed.
Yeah, it is. That is just one thing where I don't want to go down making this comic book show or universe too comic booky. We've done pretty good in the MCU so far, where they haven't done the people aren't buying the books anymore. We need to bring back Wolverine again. I don't want it to turn into
that. Marvel has done a good job, at least in the MCU, of like just skirting that line between things are getting too fantastical and no, remember, this is live action. We have to be relatively grounded.
We have to be, and I don't want the Skrulls to be what ruins that. Because it's just like, well, we could just have another person that was actually her, and she sent someone this way, and I'm just like, don't start doing that for the love of, and I don't want it to turn into, aha, I was just a Skrull again. Don't. You haven't done it yet, but good God, don't. I don't need 18 fake outs in future movies leading up to Secret Invasions where it's like, we killed Miss Marvel. Nope, just a Skrull, guys. Just joking. We wouldn't really do that to you. And then you kill her later. Don't do stuff like that.
Oh, God, no. Please don't do that.
But anyway, like you're saying before, the conversations with Talos and Nick Fury, like, Nick Fury is getting the most amount of shit shoveled in his face as he has gotten in all of the MCU in these past 3 episodes. That ass chewing that Talos gives him about the fact that he pretty much has his position or had his position in S.H.I.E.L.D. because of him is pretty accurate when they go through how he said he had the Skrulls set up. And you kind of don't realize that until they introduce plot points, which the MCU's done a pretty good job of not, what do I want to say, ham-fisting lore into things. Like, it doesn't feel off that Talos would have been there to help him, considering all that, because a spy network with Skrulls, you wouldn't have noticed.
Exactly.
But yeah, I like the kind of ass chewing that he gives him and how Nick is just like, really? You're going to give me this shit now? And yeah, they aren't afraid. And again, that's some of my favorite lines in all the MCU are in these freaking shows, where they have where Talos drags the apology out of him, and then he calls that woman up, which I keep forgetting what her name is. And then she's just like, first I need you to apologize to me. Sorry, I already gave out my quota of that for the day. You are not getting an apology.
I love Olivia Colman so much.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, she's good. And the I love how the Skrulls are like, Nick Fury is not as tough as he used to be. And you get into the scene in the house. That scene in that house is fantastic. Utterly fantastic.
It's pretty much Samuel Jackson bringing back the whole Pulp Fiction side of him.
It was. You have Talos, who's good for roughly 2.5 minutes. I've been turned. You don't say. And then Nick just goes blowing people away. And then, hey, Nick, it got things taken up here. Okay, Bob, no one ever calls me Nick. He's just like, you won't do it. Oh, I won't. He's just like, oh shit. No, he is going to murder my son. I better let Talos go. No bluffs are being called here, sir. I don't give a shit. Nick will. To fakely quote Michael Jordan, fuck them kids. I love how he's never said that, but that quote just lives with him. Do you know what that's from?
I want to say like SNL or something.
No, it's the weird thing is it's not an actual quote that he said. There was this, and I want to say it was a bunch of kids visit him on the set of Space Jam, where it was this like gym full of kids, and the thing was, and it was like 100 kids. This place is packed, like just enough to where he has enough room to shoot threes. And the thing was, Michael had this amount of shots, and if he missed a single shot, all the kids were going to get bought new sneakers. And Mike is just sinking threes, never even trying to miss. And all the kids are going, yeah! So everyone just adopted Michael Jordan saying, fuck them kids. It's one of my favorite things in the world.
It's one of my favorite memes that I never actually knew the origin of, but I see it everywhere. It's like, it applies in so many places.
It does. It's fantastic. But yeah, so obviously not having any plans for Gaia outside of it. Like, we have 3 and having it happen halfway through a 3-episode show, it just depends what they're going to do with the rest of it. Because, like, I don't know how the show's going to end because we're still going to have Secret Invasion. No, Secret Wars. Wars. I get them screwed up. We're still going to have Secret Wars. So, like, you're not stopping the Skrulls in this show. I don't know how this show ends.
I wonder if this show isn't even about the Skrulls, but about Nick Fury kind of getting his mojo back after being gone for X amount of years.
Oh, I bet that's a big part of it. Like, it's probably either going to be either way, it's going to be Nick getting his mojo back, but then it's either going to be him rejoining S.H.I.E.L.D. or him just basically taking over S.W.O.R.D. to, like, get a better handle on identifying the Skrulls, because he's probably going to be the head man going into, like, taking care of all of it, because I have a feeling Gravik's not making out of it. But then we're going to see an end credit scene of a different Skrull leader that's doing whatever. Because, like, you're not going to stop the Skrulls, but, like, there has to be something that they get out of this. Like, they've had a TV show that we thought ended well and then got an absolutely just ass-bag ending for the hero, and that was Loki. Like, we've already had it, so...
I have another theory. So in the comics, Talos is referred to as Talos the Untamed, and he's very much a villain.
Okay.
So what if this show is Talos' villain origin story?
What are we gonna do?
I'm not saying I necessarily like that theory, but
I'm just wondering how you get there in these next 3 episodes when, like, if we get to a point where they try to frame Gaia's death on Nick Fury and that's what gets him pissed, I'm going to hate it, because Gravik told him to his face that he would kill Gaia in a moment's notice.
Yep.
So if they do this, I'd hate it. If they come up with another way, that's fine, but it better not be because of Gaia.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case either. I was just throwing that out there as a hypothetical.
No, I get it. But it's like, they already have, like, normally the Kree, for the most part, are the good guys.
And this time they're kind of dicks.
They're the bad guys. And then now we have a good chunk of the Skrulls are good, and the rebellion is bad. Like, we have some good Skrulls. I don't ever remember there being any form of good Skrulls. That's just me. Like, that threw me for a big loop when freaking Captain Marvel came. Give or take, I am no comics aficionado, but I read Secret Invasion and Secret Wars. Skrulls aren't good people.
Nope.
But we'll have to see, because they did mention there's a million Skrulls on Earth. So, like, when's Secret Wars again?
They
Didn't they push them both back like a year?
They did. Let me check when it was pushed back.
Because I believe they were a year apart. They were kind of doing the Endgame thing, correct? Originally?
That was kind of the okay, so Avengers Secret Wars has been pushed back to May 2027.
Okay. And then King Dynasty's first?
Yep, King Dynasty is now May 1st, 2026.
So they're borderline exactly a year after another.
Yep.
Okay, so that's another thing. Is that movie's still going to be about Kang?
Oh yeah, they got to figure out what to do with that.
Because he got cleared of one thing and then boom. Oh boy. I'm not throwing this out there. Whatever people do, whatever. I'm just saying. You want a guy that has the same type of disposition and way that Jonathan Majors played that role? I don't think Denzel Washington's busy.
Or his son, John David Washington.
Or yeah. I've never seen his son in anything. But I'm just saying, like, I'm just picturing that exactly, like the tone, cadence, and everything. But if I like I said, I've never seen his son anything. If his son will work for it, that'd be perfectly fine. Because I don't need the body that Jonathan Majors has. I don't want Kang to be physically intimidating. He never has been. He's always been a dude that there was 1,600 versions of him, so you could never kill him. And like after we watched freaking Ant-Man, and I totally forgot that he actually was just Rama Tut. But oh boy, do they need to get rid of that Party City whatever he was wearing, because that was bad. That I will not take back. That looked like garbage. But yeah, this is the one where I genuinely don't know how it's going to end.
And I kind of like that. I like not knowing where the story is going to go.
Cuz like I don't know how many movies we have in between this and that, but like as far as things being set up, we have Strange being pulled away to go deal with the incursions he caused with his future wife. The niece of Dormammu, whatever the Marvels is about. Black Panther's just pretty much Black Panthering. Ant-Man is having PTSD and eating with his family.
Deadpool 3 is whatever the hell Sean Levy and
I don't know. I have a good feeling that we're not going to see Deadpool in a not Deadpool movie in the MCU until Secret Wars.
Oh yeah, no.
Because I think that's where he's just gonna pop it, where they're like, oh, I can play with the kids now, and I can just stay here now. But I just so badly like my end credit scene for Deadpool 3 is him just on a browser clicking the X-Men from Fox Studios and dragging and dropping it in Marvel Studios. I just want it to be something stupid. But I'm like, and then we have the teasing now and the official statement that Hulk, everything is back with Marvel.
Yes.
So, and they teased in She-Hulk about the movie. So they knew that shit was coming. The time lapse was coming up quick. So then you have his son, you have Scar there. So we're not doing World War Hulk, but he's got Scar there now. And whatever Thunderbolts is going to be, man, it used to be a lot simpler telling where this stuff was going to go.
Now it's like they've I say this for better and for worse. They have spread themselves very thin and as far as like how far these stories can go.
I mean, part of it was, hey, we have all our toys and enough places to put them where we want them. We're also going to be like, eventually we're doing Secret Wars. We needed to establish a good amount of people. And not all like, how can we come up with an idea to have Kate Bishop, all the Thunderbolts, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, Photon, and we're like, how can we stick all of them in one movie? We can't. We'll have some TV shows. It's like, eventually, like, Secret Wars is going to be so expensive. My good lord, Secret Wars is going to need to make like $2 billion.
Basically.
Because, oh boy, that's going to be a big one. And it will. That's the sad part. It's just going to. Because once you actually start reconnecting this stuff, like, so many people were excited that you just saw Loki in an end credit scene because it felt like things were drawn together more again. I've been okay because I've always been that person that was like, yeah, man, I'm just not into how we don't have this to happen, and this just to talk to this. I'm like, oh, so cool, like phase 1. Yeah, but this isn't phase 1. I'm like, kind of is, though. Because, like, you just finished the saga and you lost 3/4 of the original team and you're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kind of is. They're just doing it again. It's almost like they're doing something based on the trajectory and storytelling of the medium of which they took the story basis from to make the universe. Who would do that? It's almost like they do this all the time.
It's one thing to not like the MCU, but to make like dumb arguments against it it's dumb.
And like, don't just be like, well, it's not good because this person didn't show up. You turn into exactly what you try and argue against people about the MCU being. And you're using their argument to bitch about the show and then bitching later that that's not how it is. Just stop. If you don't like a show, just say you don't like it. You can just say you don't like something and just not like it. That has become one of the main things that's just impossible now. You have to have a 15-page dictatorial, doctorate thesis on why you don't like something or the stupidest reason on the planet. There's no in between.
Mm-hmm.
There can't just be, I just didn't feel it. Because then you're not a person that everyone goes, oh, did you hear what they said? Guess what, people? I'm sorry to tell you, I'm all for free speech, but not does everyone. And I understand. This is me being partially hypocrite because we have a YouTube channel and we're talking about the show. But guess what? I am not doing this and hyper exaggerating my thoughts in the hope that someone fucking quotes me someday. And there's a lot of people that I know that just post shit over exaggeratingly on Twitter to just be like, oh, I totally agree with what they said. They're just, oh, it's the worst. Oh my God, they shot my children. No,
There's
You
so much clout chasing on Twitter.
You just didn't like it. That's like my surrogate dad. He is. I would take a bullet for that man. I would. I love Luke to death. I always have and always will. Like, he was shocked that I like Venom Let There Be Carnage. He was just like, well, what did you like about it? I'm like, I liked Cletus as Carnage, or I liked Will
Woody Harrelson.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't think of his name. Woody Harrelson as Carnage. The action toward the end was great, and it had a cool setup. She's just like, oh, but I'm like, no, I didn't love all of it. I liked it. I love Cool Runnings. I like most of the MCU. There's variances. The world's lost that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that you have to be like, it's either a 1 or a 10. Like, most of the animes that I've been watching in this binge lately has been between a 9 and a 7 because I've liked them. I put it on an actual honest-to-God grading scale. If I give something a 13, I loved it because it's over 10. Like, Gurren Lagann is a 99 out of 10. Like, I don't do that for everything, and you shouldn't either. But, yeah, all right. So, okay. One last question before we go. How fast do you think that Talos and Nick are going to find out the guy's dead? Do you think that Gravik is going to make someone impersonate the person that guy was impersonating?
I think so, because he's just that petty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like, that would be the other thing. They can't do that either. Or I mean, you can't fake it that way either. Because after you shoot the Skrull and kill them, they revert to normal. And then he would see that it's not her. So it is what it is. Oh, the other point that I have to ask, unless I missed something, I was very confused. And I mean very. Scylla, we'll call her, is the wife of Nick Fury, a man who is not short of having something on him to protect himself at all times. She goes through this super elaborate process of going to this secret building, going in through this vault, cracking this secret code to get a gun.
Yeah, why go through all the trouble just to get a single gun?
You're married to Nick Fury. Why would you not have 10 of them at that house ready and just good to go? What is so special about this pistol that you had to go to a specialized bank vault, enter the code in, and then be like, okay, now I can go meet with Gravik? Did I miss something?
No, I am just as lost as you are.
Okay. So I was like, is this a special Skrull shooting gun? Oh, wait, no, because Nick killed like 6 in the house with a regular Glock.
I hope they explain the purpose of this, or I don't know, maybe like maybe this is part of her double life that she's been hiding.
I don't know. It's weird because then that brings me up to Nick wouldn't mind if she had a weapon to protect herself, and this double life she's like doing. Nick just came back for the first time in 4 years, and it was in the safe. She didn't go put it away. I don't know. I'm so confused. I hope they address that in the next episode because that was weird. But anyway, okay. So yeah, overall, still loving the show. We've only got 3 episodes left. We should be on time for the next 2. I'm going to be out of state for the finale, so that thing is going to be a week late. But I'm going to be on a houseboat in Tennessee. So sorry, I need to miss it for this one little thing. So yeah, all right, Mike, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube, on Podchaser. Subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we.
Absolutely. You can find me everywhere at Organoid Zero, mainly on Twitch and YouTube. Anyone and everyone who likes Spider-Man 2, the PS5 game that's going to be coming out October 20th, I am going to be giving away a digital deluxe edition on my Twitch channel. You are interested, all you need to do is be watching and subscribed. And if you are subscribed at the time, I will have a little thing up. You just type it in and you'll be entered into a random drawing. It'll be picked live on stream and you will likely get it the next day because it'll be the code I am getting with my physical copy that I won't need. So if you're interested, something is worth $80 you can get for $5. I think that's a pretty good deal. All right, everybody, until next time, we will see you all later.
Peace.
Bye.